The Trump administration has now officially created a nearly $1.8 billion Anti-Weaponization Fund through the Department of Justice, a fund supposedly designed to compensate people who claim they were politically targeted by federal investigations and government agencies. Supporters say this is about restoring trust and compensating victims of political bias. Critics say something very different, because this increasingly feels like DJT accusing others of weaponizing the DOJ while simultaneously weaponizing the DOJ himself. And the timing of it all matters. America is heading towards major political events later this year, particularly the midterms. And this feels very much like an attempt to secure and energize the deeply entrenched MAGA loyalist base, ahead of what could become another extremely volatile political cycle. Because this fund is not just symbolic, this is real money, taxpayer money. And naturally, people are now asking who exactly decides who was targeted? Who decides who qualifies for compensation? Who controls where this money goes? And perhaps most importantly, who will actually benefit from it? Because we are already hearing conversations around January 6th defendants, Trump allies, and conservative activists potentially seeking compensation through this fund. But many people also remember that some individuals connected to January 6th were later rearrested or charged with entirely separate serious crimes after being pardoned. So what exactly are we looking at here? Justice? Political loyalty rewards? Or something in between? There is also another uncomfortable reality. Many of the deep MAGA supporters on the ground who passionately defend Trump online, in media spaces, and even physically at rallies will likely never personally see a penny from this fund. Which again raises the question, who truly benefits? Because history repeatedly shows us that whenever huge political funds emerge around powerful leaders, the money rarely flows where ordinary supporters believe it will. The Department of Justice is supposed to remain institutionally independent from the sitting president. But increasingly, America's institutions appear to be transforming into political battlegrounds, where each side accuses the other of corruption, bias, and authoritarian behavior. And once institutions lose public trust, democracies become extremely unstable very quickly. That is why this story matters globally. America constantly presents itself as the leading example of democratic governance, rule of law, and institutional independence. But if justice increasingly becomes linked to political loyalty, personal allegiance, and partisan warfare, then naturally the rest of the world begins questioning whether America is still functioning as a healthy democracy, or whether it is slowly drifting into something much more authoritarian in nature. And perhaps the most important point of all is this. When politicians begin using state institutions to reward supporters and punish opponents, history shows that rarely ends well for any nation. This has been the JR Voice. Stay tuned for more unpacking of global headlines.